Welcome to LinguaWire English B1. Today, we have two stories. One about how ships avoiding the Middle East may harm whales, and another about China and global food supplies. Follow us to practice your English every day with the latest episode. For transcripts and quizzes, visit linguawire.com. I'm here with Sarah, LinguaWire's environment reporter. Sarah, what is happening with the ships and whales near South Africa?
Hello, Daniel. Since 2023, many ships have been changing their paths to avoid the Middle East. Instead of going through the usual way near Yemen, they now sail around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. This change means more ships travel near where many whales live.
Why is this change happening now?
It started after a British ship was taken by force near Yemen by Houthi rebels. Also, the war involving the US, Israel, and Iran has made the Middle East a dangerous area for ships. So, to stay safe, ships avoid that region.
I see. What is new today about this situation?
Recently, scientists from the University of Pretoria studied the risk of ships hitting whales on this new path. They found that the number of ships passing the Cape of Good Hope almost doubled between March and April this year compared to last year. This means the chance of whales being hit by ships is much higher now.
That sounds serious. How do the scientists know about the risk to whales?
They use maps that show where different whale types live around the Western Cape. Then they put these maps together with the new ship paths. This helped them see where crashes might happen.
Do we know how many whales have been hurt or killed?
That is hard to say. Most whale crashes happen far from the coast, deep in the ocean. When whales die there, their bodies usually sink and do not wash up on shore. Scientists call this hidden death because it is hard to see and count.
Interesting, and yet worrying. Why does this matter for people?
Whales are important for ocean health. If many whales die, it can affect the whole sea life. Also, ships hitting whales can cause damage to the ships and delay deliveries. So, it is a problem for both nature and people.
What might happen next? Could ships change paths again?
It is possible. Some experts suggest better maps and technology to warn ships about whale areas. But changing paths again is difficult because the Middle East is still unsafe. So it is a big problem.
What's also worth noting is that this problem is new and growing fast because of global conflicts. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Now I'm with Adam, LinguaWire's world economy reporter. Adam, what is the latest about China and global food supplies?
Hi, Daniel. A former World Bank president, David Malpass, recently said China should stop keeping large amounts of food and fertilizer. This means China has big reserves of these important goods, and it should share more to help the world.
Why is this issue important right now?
Because of the war involving Iran, global supplies of fertilizer are very low. The Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route, is closed or very risky. This makes it hard for many countries to get fertilizer for their crops.
So China has a lot of fertilizer, but is not exporting much?
Exactly. Since March, China has stopped sending out several types of fertilizer. They say they want to protect their own farmers and food supply, but this makes the global shortage worse.
What else did David Malpass say about China?
He said China's claim to be a developing country is no longer believable. China is the second biggest economy in the world and quite rich. Yet, it still acts like a developing country in international groups like the World Trade Organization and the World Bank.
That is a strong statement. What could happen after this?
There might be more pressure on China to change its policies. Other countries want China to export more fertilizer and food to help the global market. But China has not said if it will do this.
What is the impact on farmers worldwide?
Farmers need fertilizer for planting crops in spring. Without enough fertilizer, crop production can fall. This could lead to higher food prices and less food in some countries.
Thanks, Adam. This is a very important global issue.
Thank you, Daniel.
Let's look back at some useful words from our first story about ships and whales. The three words are collision, route, and mortality. Collision means a crash or hitting something. In the story, it described ships hitting whales in the ocean. For example, the car had a collision with a tree. Route means the path or way taken to get from one place to another. The story talked about ships changing their route to avoid danger. For example, we took a new route to avoid traffic. Mortality means death, especially the number of deaths in a group. The story used hidden death to explain whale deaths that are hard to see. For example, the mortality rate of the fish increased last year. Now, for our second part, let's focus on the verb to stop. It means to end or not continue something. At B1 level, you can use it in different tenses: stop, stopped, and stopping. For example, I stopped working at 6 o'clock, or she stopped eating meat last year. In the story, David Malpass said China should stop hoarding food and fertilizer. This means China should end or pause this action. Another example, please stop talking. And they stopped the project last month. That's all for today's language recap. Follow LinguaWire for the latest daily episode and build your daily language habit with us.